Cool. All right. Thank y'all for joining tonight. Welcome to episode 8 of the Zones All Access, hosted by the Sports Center and the third pit pass. I have a very special guest with me tonight at the garage, Austin Neely, driver of Team 3 Motorsports. Before we get started, I need to thank my team of marketing partners, our premier partners, Whitaker Insurance, J&S Concrete Pumping, Value RX Tazewell, Hearthside Bank, Walker Construction, and Stay and Play Doggy Daycare and more. Communications is always provided by First Century Bank. Welcome to the garage. Good to talk to you again. First question I always ask people, did you play sports locally and what all did you play?
Yes, sir. First of all, it's good to be here. Thanks for the invite. Very special garage, very neat. Always like looking at people's hobby plays. It's always fun to see. But to answer your question, played sports. Yes, sir. Really growing up, started 3 or 4 year old baseball or basketball, baseball, and football. Really played all three of them up until high school, and then kind of focused in on basketball and football and kind of let the baseball go. But very much enriched in the area of sports growing up.
What would you call your favorite sport?
I like them both, football and basketball. Probably basketball was probably my favorite, but they both was pretty similar, really.
Why would you pick basketball as your favorite?
I shouldn't say that it was my favorite. I probably should. They both in their own unique
They both
way.
had their place.
Yeah, they did.
You were good at both. Yeah.
Football was probably more. I think you learned more, maybe some life situational skills and stuff like that through football.
Okay, that's my next question. What did you learn?
Yeah. Really just the importance of, of a team in life. And that can mean 2 people, 3 people, whatever your team number is, but, and that can mean 25 at work or whatever it is. But, just the camaraderie and the commitment level of a group and what a group together can achieve really, with people pulling in the right direction can really be a force to be reckoned with.
Okay. Did you have a coach through all your sports that got you in a way that you're thankful for, we'll say?
For sure. I don't know that any one is like super more than the other. They all had their very unique place. I really had a great relationship with every coach I had, and still do to this day. I don't see them a ton, but when I do see them, we always seem to go back and kind of reminisce and all that. Unique story, I guess, a little bit. Really, up until probably college, that's what I wanted to do, was be a coach, and I guess a teacher at that point. But
yeah,
because the pull and the impact that a coach can have on kids' lives is really really special, especially in our area. You might have a kid or kids, whatever, that don't have a great home life or family life, and a coach is a figure to them, whether it be a mother or father figure.
Sometimes both.
Sometimes both, that's right. And they can have a big impact on children. And, we all know that children are special. And so anyways, that's what I wanted to do for a little while, for sure.
Okay. When did you first get the idea of, hey, I want to go racing?
Well, I was around it, growing up. My uncle, John Thompson, actually used to own Tazewell Speedway. So I was, around it, not necessarily in it, but around it, growing up. But really, it was right, I guess, after high school, first couple years of college, something like that. me and a couple of my friends, Cody Thompson and Mark Estep, still two of my best friends to this day. We was just out there watching, and they both. Well, Cody had a background in racing. His dad helped my uncle John Thompson.
Right.
So he had a background in it as well. Mark really didn't, but we all three just kind of got the great idea. Thought we would get into it, and anyways, it just kind of all went from there. But it really was no. It just kind of came about. To be honest with you.
Yeah. No desire from as a kid to get out there, and
No
dreams of
I would
becoming
be
a
lying
NASCAR guy.
I'd be lying if I told you it was.
All right.
It was very late in the. I wish it would have been really earlier, but no, it was very late. In the season.
All right. What's your first car? Where'd you race it at?
So I guess it kind of continues the story with me and Mark and Cody. We all went in together and bought a car, a pure street car here in town, and spent entirely too much time putting it together. Now, looking back on it, it was like 2 weeks worth of work, but we made it somehow 3 months worth. But anyways, we had a lot of fun that year. We actually switched driving every week between me and Cody. So anyway, the first race.
I think you told me that before. Yeah.
First race was at Tazewell.
Okay.
I guess I didn't answer that, but
And what was your thoughts on racing after you did it once?
yeah, man, we was so far off in left field that it was pretty humbling, I guess you could say. But I mean, it was definitely fun. Obviously it was an adrenaline rush and all that stuff. But we learned a lot. That whole first year really was just a matter of learning. But neither one of us had any quit, and the thought is it's just you think you're going fast until somebody else comes up beside you, then you realize you ain't going that fast.
Yeah. What was the first race at Taz? How did it come out? I mean, did you finish it?
Lord, I don't. Let's see. It was he raced it first, I think, and I think we had something go wrong. And then
talk about the car. What was it again?
It was a Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo.
I guess I'm going to tell you that.
Yep.
It was a pure street Monte Carlo, so pretty much just kind of knocked the roll cage out and, or knocked the windows out, put a roll cage in, stuff like that. No real racing parts to it. All stock suspension, all stock wheels and tires, but anyways, I don't know if we finished the first race. We sure didn't finish it good, I can tell you that. I think actually the first time I drove, I think we did finish, but we might have been, I think we was 2 laps down, if that tells you anything, from the leaders. And the leader at that time, I think it was Jonathan Miracle, which Jonathan's a great friend of mine. And anyways, we're, good friends now, but yeah, Jonathan made us look bad for quite a while.
Jonathan's a good driver. What's your next car, and how did that one go?
So we raced that car to finish out that year, and then me and Cody both decided we wanted to pursue our venture racing, driving separate, I guess. And we actually we bought another car, but still worked on them together and all that good stuff, and really had a lot of fun. But anyways, it was a Monte Carlo as well. It was just we went to the next class of street stock, which at the time was called Super Street. I don't know if they have that now. I don't think they do. It might be a little different, but it was like the old modified street.
Kind of like the modified, yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, it was a little more racy as far as your suspension and some wheels.
More adjustability,
stuff like that. Brad Davis and Tony Horton, Kurt Owens was kind of the big guys in that class, and we got to race with them for a couple years.
Okay, let's talk about your 2025 car. Yeah. What's the chassis, motor, all that?
So the chassis is a Longhorn chassis right now. We did have we sold it last year, but we've really only had one chassis up to this point, and it was a Team Zero or Bloomquist chassis, and ended up getting a Longhorn last year and selling the Bloomquist and now just have the Longhorn. Anyways, you asking about chassis, so engine. The Travis Foltz builds our
Good motor,
spec engine,
Good motor.
which is like a steel block with aluminum heads, and then the open motor or the super motor is a big heel all aluminum engine. So, anyways, what else did you ask? I forgot.
That's about it.
Okay.
Talk about your first win and describe it to me.
Yeah. I'll still remember it to this day. Of course, everybody asks, is going to tell you that, but it was on a Sunday afternoon. We got rained out on Saturday, and went to church that morning. Everything was already loaded. Might have even been at the track. I don't know, but anyways, we went straight to the racetrack after church, and I talked about Tony and Brad earlier. They was both in the race, and we was fortunate enough to beat them both. And really, it was a big deal, to us, to our team. But like I said, it was the middle of the day, probably 5 or 6 o'clock. I think it was in July, I believe, July 20 something.
Sounds right.
Yeah. But anyways, yeah, we had really been working hard all year. We worked really hard that winter, build a car I'll tell a quick story on that. We actually, Rex Ritchie, a lot of y'all probably heard of him, and I know you have, but he, very big influencer in our career. But we went down to his shop that winter and built a car from really the ground up, metric Monte Carlo type car with a little rear clip on it. And anyways, spent a lot of time building that car, and it was really rewarding to build it really, like I said, from the ground up, and then go out there and really win a couple races.
Good learning experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So anyways, that was the first win. It was really big for our team because it gave us confidence, and it all that stuff. It's just like any sport. Once you get the first one out of the way, it seems like the rest do come a little easier.
Well, the series you race in now, same as last year, right?
Yes, sir.
What is it?
The Topless Outlaw Series.
Topless Outlaws. Okay, you got the opportunity to race with some legends that actually raced that series.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it was, he's referring to Ronnie Johnson and Skip Art. Both of those guys, really in our region, maybe not now, but in their prime was the Jimmy Owens and the Scott Bloomquist.
Very
nowadays,
much so.
So, anyways, they're great. They're both great people, great competitors, and they really, you can learn a lot just being around them. But no, I really look back on we won the points championship this past year, but in 2021 we was going neck and neck against Ronnie Johnson and ran the points the whole year, and led them all the way to like 2 races to go. Anyways, had a fluke deal, and he ended up winning. But their team, he had a well-oiled team. I mean, he had really good stuff, really good equipment, but it was just really neat how being with them week in and week out made our team better.
Yes.
It's just like any other sport, football, basketball, whatever. But anyway, since your question, those are great guys. And you're right, they do race on the topless stuff, which is like the spec motor division. And really been fortunate enough to, in the open motor stuff, race with some other obviously legends too.
Yes, you have.
Some of them are still racing now. Some of them are, gone from this world with us. But anyway, been really blessed.
Yeah. What's the 2025 goals?
Yeah. So we're kind of, to be honest with you, last year we had the goal of winning the Topless Points Championship. and we did succeed that goal. This year, I'm not really 100% sure we're going to commit to that again. So I think we're going to be more kind of doing what makes sense and going where it makes sense. Probably going to a lot of the topless races, and then going to some super races that are nearby within our circle where we feel comfortable racing. But really just kind of last year was pretty tough on our team and our team members as far as traveling goes. And having it's just
and
rainouts. It's a big commitment when you do that for a lot of people, not just us and two other people or whatever. It affects a lot of people. So, anyways, our goal is just to be competitive, and when we show up and win some races.
Okay, let's talk about your crew this year. You just the same, pretty much, and
yes, sir.
Who's going to try to help you reach the goal this year?
Yeah. Like I said, we've been blessed in a lot of aspects throughout the years. Help is one of them. And anybody knows anything about racing really is help is very good. Help's hard to find. There's a lot of people that say they can help, but good help's hard to find, and you're really not going to be successful without it. And it goes back to that whole team aspect. You look at any successful team, they've got good people, and they know their role, and they know what to do, and they all do it very well. So I've been blessed with great help over the years. We all have got a little different chapters in life going on right now. That's kind of making it a little tougher for us to go race every weekend. But it's also made us better, well rounded. And anyways, Dylan Robinson, Marky Step, Robert Rosenbaum, my dad, and my son Rayston. He comes and helps when he can.
Cleans the tires, stuff, that important stuff.
That important stuff. That's
makes
right.
it look good.
But anyways, I mean, we've had a host of people through, on and off throughout the years. I mean, if I named them all, it'd be. But that's the core group. Like I said, there's been some people in and out of there that's helped us achieve those goals throughout the years.
Okay, let's talk about racing in just a little bit.
Yeah.
It wasn't on my list, but
sure.
He's racing a little bit.
Yeah.
How's he doing?
He's doing good. He, last year we've done the Godspeed, and he got to race some. They have the powder,
juice box,
and he really loved that. And then ended up doing some of the I don't know what plate it's called. They got so many plates. I don't know what they're called, but anyways, the smallest go kart that you can do, and really was a year younger than he should have been to even do it. But anyways, they let him go out there some, and he really enjoyed it. He liked it. I mean, he really that's all he's done since he was born was really hold a steering wheel. To be honest with you, where it was around the house or whatever. But he enjoyed it. He liked it a lot.
Power wheel derbies and everything.
Yeah. He's done a little bit of everything.
I've seen him everywhere.
Yeah, but he enjoys it. He started playing football last year, and really that kind of took away from the racing. But hey, when you're that,
does he love it too?
He loves it too. And really, like I said, I think a little better in racing. But you know how kids are. It'll change 10 times between now and when he's old enough to do something. But
okay, let's move on to your sponsors.
Yes, sir.
Who's helping you this year, and who's?
Sure. I've through the years we've been blessed with a lot of great partners, and that's what we call them as partners, really, because everyone has been a friend, really, and and without their support, you can't be successful without the right people involved in your corner. And like I said, there's a lot of people that's on this list now that may not be contributing now that did contribute a couple years ago or whatever, and they all played a part. A lot of businesses around the area. But to start with, I mean, as far as current goes, I got to start with Mike Reese and Reese Monument Company. Of course, you know Mike and what he's meant to the racing industry in general. Has been a huge
Man doesn't get the credit he deserves.
Not at all. Not at all. And for what he's done for a lot of different people, you know, big, big, small, anything in between, really.
Yes.
Mike is he loves competition.
He loves competition. He does.
He loves to win. I always get cracked up at the softball stories from a long time ago.
Yeah, they're fun.
But anyway, so Mike's been a big part of our operation. Blake DeBusk, MRC Transportation, um, Rob Barger, First Century Bank, um, Giles Industries, Four Seasons Boat and RV Storage, um, Five Star Properties, Dave Bowen at Mary's Home Furnishings and Oakwood, Clayton Homes of Middlesboro, Integrity Plumbing Solutions, Cobble Banker, Bashea Realty, Jeffers Exterminating, and again, I mentioned Travis Foltz with DJ's Performance Racing Engines. He's been a very a very big part of our success as well. And there's like I said, there's more that's helped in the past that maybe not doing it now or whatever. But without good people in your corner, you're in this sport. It's hard to be successful. So we're very appreciative of them.
Okay, my last real question is, what's a successful season?
What's a successful season? To be honest with you, we normally we have a sponsor dinner every year at the end of the year and kind of recap, the previous year and then talk about the next year's goals and all that. And we try to be pretty structured on that. And this year it did seem like we lacked a little bit of really looking forward to what were our goals for this year. And just being honest, I think we was just so involved in the point stuff. It was just everybody was
exhausted.
Everybody was just ready to shut down for a little while.
Yeah.
But I mean, success. Like I said, I don't know that we're going to commit to anything as far as points goes or nothing like that. But success in racing, really, to anybody, is being competitive when you show up. And if you show up 115 times like the Lucas guys do, then they hope to be competitive all 115 times. If you show up 30 times, then you hope to be competitive all 30 times. We're at a point, like I said, when we show up, we want to be competitive and we want to win the race. And we really try to put ourselves in a situation that when we go somewhere, that's kind of what we plan to do.
Just be competitive.
Be competitive and run up front and, take care of your stuff and like I said, just be in a position to win races.
Okay, last thing, if you got anything you want to say to the Team 3 Motorsports family and friends and fans,
sure,
it's your time to do it right now.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, like I said, we've our team has came a long way from where we started. I say but where we started, and it's took a lot of people, a lot of work, a lot of sacrifices, and there's been a lot of people that's came in and out of those windows, and that may or may not be with the team now, or whatever. But it's took every one of them, and it's took all the growing pains and and a lot of different outside help. I mean, we've been lucky enough to have good connections with a lot of well-known people in this sport with a lot of access. Whether it's Scott Bloomquist, Jimmy Owens, Shane McDowell, Randy Weaver. I mean, all those guys are Hall of Fame guys that really, at some point or another, been in our not back pocket, but in our pocket,
in your corner,
yes. That we could lean on, and that means a lot. It does mean a lot, especially when we was trying to run a lot of the super
Mike
stuff.
told me that Scott had helped you a lot.
Yes, sir. Yeah,
that's big. He doesn't help a lot of people in the way that he helped you. So
I mean, he
saw something good in you.
When Mike first started helping us, he was helping Scott at the time, and I mean, we spent more time in building that car, that late model. We spent more time in Scott's garage than we did in our garage building it, and a lot of people don't get to say that.
No.
Now, was it enjoyable the whole time? Absolutely not. Was it a lot of work and different things? But looking back, like I said, it's neat to say that we was able to do that, for sure. And then, like I said, a lot of other people have kind of helped us. I guess I didn't finish my thought, but a lot of people supported us, whether it be yourself, fans in the area, and just support means a lot. And because racing is a up and down sport, so one week you might, lead every lap and think you're the number one guy, and then next week you have to race a B main to make the race, and that's just that it happens at any level. I mean, a lot of the national guys have those nights too, where they're up and down, and it's all about just equaling it out and just trying to not have no mountaintops or valleys. But a big thing, I guess, to point out was a couple years ago we had the opportunity to race at Eldora a couple times. We ended up starting on the front row of a heat race, and it was on national TV, or Flow Racing, which is whatever. And there was a ton of people from around home and around the area that was supportive of that, and it was really neat to just see everybody, kind of come together for hometown people.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that for sure.
All right. I've got more questions, but I know you need to go to the race shop.
No,
thank you for coming down. Yes, no, we'll talk another time. Once again, I need to thank our team of marketing partners and First Century Bank. Without them, we couldn't do what we do, and we'll see you next time. God bless.